This is my final project demo. And so basically, I don't have a microphone or anything on this computer, so I'm having to do the audio on my phone and then I'll combine them later. But I guess we'll start with where we started, or with where I started. This is the grass here that I modeled in the beginning of my project. This is 15 pieces and stalks of grass. And if I go ahead and hit the rendered button, then we can see what it looks like with the textures applied. And then if you want to see where we edit the textures, basically we can come here. We can come here. And then actually see how the texture is applied. And you can see that I modeled this piece of grass here, and that this texture is on this piece of grass. And I can actually go ahead and select something and move it out of the way, and you can see how it changes the texture on the grass. Anyways, so that's how the grass is done. And I'm a bit disappointed that this grass doesn't have as much detail as I'd like, but you know, if I had a different texture, I guess that problem would be fixed. But it makes the grass sort of just look green and not with an actual texture. But anyways, I'll put this away. And here is my ground. I'll go back into a normal view here. So if you look at the ground, you can see it's subdivided, and it has this noise texture applied to it. And I can actually change these values, and it changes how rough the ground is and how, you know, the different sort of aspects of the ground. And that's because everything's supposed to be procedurally generated and easily modifiable like that. The tree is, unlike the grass, I only made one tree because it took longer to make a tree than a piece of grass. But I tried to randomize it enough to where it would look okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and shade this smooth so that looks a bit better. And then if we go ahead and look at it through the camera, I do think that looks a bit better. And the tree, we can go ahead and see the tree with a, we go ahead and hit the rendered view. You can see what the trees and the ground look like with all their textures applied. My computer's pretty slow, so maybe if I had a better computer, I could have done a bit more, but I guess this is what I've got to work with right now. So if we go ahead and put the grass back on there, we can go to the particle system, and we can also change the trees too. So if we go into this view, we can change the number of trees by changing this. We could say like 12. So there's 12 trees. We could go up to like 100, although this might not be good. Okay, look at there. We've got a lot of trees now. And then same with the grass. We can change the number of grass to maybe 100 pieces of grass showing up on the ground. And you can see them scattered around a little bit. And then we can change that again to maybe 10,000. And you can see the grass is a bit, looks a bit better. Add an extra 0 and my computer might crash. But we could try it. Okay, well, that looks pretty good. And then if we go ahead and hit the rendered view, we can see what it would look like in the end, although this is also probably going to take a little while. Right, so because it is ray tracing, it's taking a while. But what this would look like if you wanted to render the full thing out is I'm also going to come over here and real quick change the untick this transparent box. and then it'll show the background as well, instead of a transparent background. Okay, so we've got all of that done. And then we can, if you hit F12, it's going to take us to the actual final rendered view. And it's going to take absolutely forever for this to work. I think that it's actually not going to do anything in the start because it's still trying to render it on the previous one. So we'll get rid of this. And then we'll click this. And then we'll hit F12 again. Goodness. And then we'll see if this renders anything out. Okay, so this is starting to render. It says it's going to take an hour to finish, but it actually looks like it's going to look pretty good. It might look a lot better than the other ones I've done even. So, I mean, I don't know. It looks pretty good, but I didn't do my renders like this because, you know, it would have taken forever to get my final images. Anyways, I think we're going to end it here. I'm thinking about letting this render all the way through and then turning it in as well, but that might take too long, so I actually probably won't do that. Anyways, that's my final project. That's how it works. That's just about everything about it. The only thing I didn't really show is the textures and how they're how they're applied using the materials and the transparency of the leaves and the grass and stuff like that. But I think a lot of things like that are minor details. I can go ahead and show a little bit of it, but there's a lot of little things that I did that, oh no, well, okay, let's see. Okay, so I will do this. One last thing I'll do is I'll go and look at the material nodes, and we can look at, so there's a dirt texture here. There's also a snow texture. If we plug that in, it will show the snowy ground instead of the dirt ground. And then if we look at any of these, this is a grass texture, and all of the different blades of grass are done with similar, but I redid them all, textures. And then here's how the tree is done. It's the birch texture, and then as a subsurface color. The leaves are a bit more complicated because, you know, there's a I tried to use this stuff for a texture coordinate mapping because they didn't look quite right, but I couldn't get that to work. And then there's also 3 options for the leaves, and if you just plug this into color and alpha into alpha, you can do that with any one of these and it'll change the leaf textures, and it's already set up for you to be able to do that. And then yeah, we've already seen the ground. The last thing would be the sky texture, which is, I did use the texture mapping nodes here, and what they do is they allow you to change the position and the rotation of what you're actually seeing in the background and how the light, like the direction of the light and how it's coming into the scene. And that's all controlled by these here. Anyways, I've taken up a lot of time, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And that's my final project. Thank you.